For this video, we are going to be in the Accelerated 7, and we are looking at Unit 2, Scale Drawings, Similarity, and Slope. And for this one, we're going to take a look at similarity. In Unit 1, they learned about congruence. So we're going to take a look at how similarity is different from congruence in this video. And I'm using Lesson 12, Part 2, Section 2, Are They Similar? So the situation is they have two shapes, a square and a rhombus, and Priya says that both of these polygons are similar because they have the same side lengths. Claire says that they are not similar because the angles are different. Now we have two rectangles that have the same angle measurements but different side lengths. Jada says that they are similar because they have a scale factor of 2. The side lengths differ by 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. Lynn says that they're similar because of the scale factor of a 1.5. So she's looking and thinking that maybe these are similar because of the scale factor. So the students would have to explain and justify why they are or not. Do they agree or disagree? So I have this on my paper here. So some key things to look for. Congruent, as we learned in Unit 1, same size and shape. So in order for a shape to be two shapes be congruent, they would have to both be squares, same size. Whereas this, we have the same size, but they're not the same shape. This is a rhombus, this is a square. So we're going to look for similarities because a shape could be slightly different and be similar. But what we want to look for is look for scale factor. So the argument that these two are similar because they have the same sides, they are not. They're not similar. And the thing that gives it away for this are the angles. The angle measurements are not the same. And in order for a shape to be similar, and I'm going to use the word congruent, they're not congruent. So in order for them to be similar, they would have to have the same angles. So if we straightened this up and made this a square, they would be congruent. They would be identical shapes. If we wanted it to be similar, we would take this 2 by 2 and maybe have a scale factor of 2 and make it 4 by 4, or have a scale factor of 1/2 and make it 1 by 1. This would make it similar. But right away, we're going to say, nope, it's not similar because the angle measurements are not congruent. They're not the same. And in order for a shape to be similar, we have to have the same angle measurements. Like we talked about in the video for scale factor, when you're enlarging or shrinking a shape, the angle measurements don't change. Now, what about this one? This one's tricky because the argument that they're similar, because if I add 2, so 2 plus 2 does equal 4, and that's what we have, okay? And 4 plus 2 does equal 6, and that's what we have. So the argument that these are similar using a scale factor of 2 could be misleading. But if you remember when we talked about scale factor, and I'm going to pull that video, that poster back up, scale factor uses multiplication. So we have to remind students that yes, while the sides have been increased by adding 2 to both sides, scale factor is multiplication. Okay, multiplication, not addition. So that rule does not work. So what's going on here with them, with these shapes? So the other student said that the scale factor was 1.5. Well, that's interesting because 4 times 1.5 does equal 6. However, when we do 2 times 1.5, we do not get 4. See that? So these are not similar. In order for them to be similar, we would have to multiply both the length and the width by the same scale factor. So we could pick one or the other. So we could say that the scale factor of 2 times 2 is 4, that works for this. So if I use a scale factor of 2 times 2 is 4, but 4 times 2 is 8. So we're missing 2 units over here on the length, okay? So in order for these two shapes to be similar, this would have to be an 8. So a 4 by 8 would be a similar shape to a 2 by 4 using a scale factor of 2. All the angles have stayed the same. They're all 90-degree angles. All we've done is enlarge the shape. If I want to use a scale factor of 1/2, 1 and 1/2, 4 times 1 and 1/2 is 6. I would just have to do 2 times 1 and 1/2, okay, in order for it to match. So again, very kind of easy to confuse, not a hard concept, but easy to confuse. So congruent means same size and shape. Everything about it is exactly the same. It might just be rotated, reflected, or translated. A similar shape is going to be using a scale factor, and that's what we're encouraging the students to look for. And we have to be really careful because we don't want to add. We're not adding when we're doing scale factor, we're multiplying. The scale factor will always be a multiplier. So that is the difference between congruent and similar, and how a student could prove they're similar or not.